Well, hi, folks, and good to have you with us. That's Danielle next to me, or maybe around me. It depends on how you have your Zoom set up. And I'm Lee Sheldon. It's good to have you with us. You know, in this series of webinars, we're tackling the things that seem to be bugging our clients the most. And so when you see us, it's kind of this is what's topical. This is what's hitting our clients or our members, and so we're bringing that to you. And so you see, as we do these webinars, every 2 or 3 months, you're going to see different things. I mean, right now it's staff, and so we're talking about staff, and you know, staff is really important. We're going to going over the details of that and some strategies, and actually a story that you'll hear that's, I don't know if it's a tearjerker, but you know, it's a good story. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about strategies that we've used that have been very successful. These are easy strategies for you to take notes of and decide to use. And this is something you can bring back to your practice if you're open tomorrow, or if your next day is Monday. You can bring these strategies back to your practice really quickly. These are easy to implement strategies and be able to see how they're used. And of course, at the end of every one of these webinars, we encourage you to join the IDS. And we hope you will, because the IDS gives you all of the strategies that we've been using, and you'll see more of that as we get into it. Danielle, anything you want to say?
Nope, I'm excited to begin. Let's
All right,
do
good.
it.
Let's begin. Okay, so this is what you signed up for, and I'm going to go through the script because the script's easy. You can read it along with me. I want to save you from the heartache that I experienced. In fact, you may be experiencing it right now. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't. But I hope that this will help you recognize it. Don't worry, it isn't doom and gloom. You'll see a very happy ending. Once you hear the story, you'll feel compelled to look at your office a little bit more carefully. You'll identify things you didn't before, and when you do, you'll first recognize the situation. That's the most important part of this, and that's recognition. So if you're staring at your cell phone right now, if you're looking at a number of different windows, don't. You'll miss the entire portion of this, which is recognizing the problem. And if you don't recognize the problem, you'll be in trouble for a long time, like I was. So get into the story.
And if you don't have a situation, that's great. You too will learn something, because we will then get into the fundamentals of what creates a great team and how to get there. Whether you just completed your residency or have been in specialty practice for 30 years, this material will help you. How do I know? Because I work with practices all over the country. A practice that started from scratch, group practices, seasoned single doctor practices, older practices, newer practices, practices that are doing well, and practices that want to do better. Doctors that are looking to transition, and doctors who want to save more money for retirement. They are all like you, dental specialists.
So let's start the story. The treachery, the betrayal by a staff member is difficult for anyone to confront. We don't think anyone can be that disloyal. After all, look at all you've done for that staff member. The anatomy of the problem worsens because a treasonous person tries to influence others in your practice to think the same way. And unfortunately, those that are easily led, or worse, feel empowered by treason, take part in the activity. So let's look at a story, my story. It happened years ago. The staff member of many years starts to become moody, constantly upset. I do the best that I can to placate her.
That is the first mistake. We all have bad days, but when those days become weeks and months, that is not a series of bad days.
Yeah, in this case, it became years. She starts to ignore the rules that she agreed to, makes fun of them. Later on, she threatens me that if I dismiss her, another staff member, an assistant who I really like, will leave with her. So I tolerate the situation for a while. After all, the threatening staff member is still doing her job.
Don't believe that for a minute. You may think that she is doing her job, but she is undermining the practice.
Finally, I reach a breaking point.
What took you so long? You should have confronted this issue in the first week.
I know. I put a new rule in effect that any dispute between the employee and the practice will be handled by arbitration rather than in the court system. She refuses to sign it. I fire her. And sure enough, the assistant that I like leaves as well, just as she had threatened. What happens is more instructive. Kathy, who works in the front and always wanted to work in the back, takes over the office. And she becomes my dental assistant. Both of my dental assistants are now gone. She had tried being a dental assistant with me before, but she couldn't do it. So she went back to the front. And Kathy does a really good job. I asked Kathy, what happened? Kathy tells me that the threatening staff member found fault with everything she did in the back. So Kathy felt that she couldn't do it and went back to the front. It wasn't that Kathy couldn't do it. It was that Kathy was criticized constantly. A subtle way of threatening her. So now Kathy does well.
Do you see how a bad staff member can affect a good staff member? By the way, Kathy ultimately went to nursing school and has been an RN for years.
A few other things happen. Other staff members tell me how much better they feel now that the treason staff member is gone. Kathy immediately finds 3 more people to replace the 2 that left. None of them work out. It's still Kathy and I at the chair, and we make it work. We are short-staffed by 2 people, and we make it work because the entire staff pulls together. I make a trip to Boston for a perio meeting. Kathy calls me the good news. Someone that she grew up with has left an orthodontic position and is looking for a job. Kathy knows her well, says that she is great, and wants to hire her. I tell Kathy to hire her. I come back the next week and meet my new surgical assistant. Kathy shows her what to do and says to the new assistant, "You're on your own. Dr. Sheldon will teach you everything else." And I do. And she's fantastic.
Hi, I'm Danielle Samela. I'm the person that Lee is referring to. I've been with him for 17 years and have been the office manager for the past 15 years, tripling the income and expanding the business from a 1-doctor to a 3-doctor practice.
Well, do you think there'd be some good news?
Not a bad exchange.
Danielle consults with specialty practices all over the country. And there were tears coming to my eyes. There were no tears coming to my eyes when I wrote this. Now I'm talking about it. Too emotional.
If I were to make a broad-based recommendation, it is this. Establish a list of rules for the office, publish them, and give each staff member 2 copies. He or she signs off on each rule in writing, showing agreement with each rule, and submits the signed copy to you or to the office manager. The employee keeps the other copy. If a staff member violates a rule, I gently remind the person of the rule. If the staff member violates the rule again, we start corrective action in writing. If violations continue to occur, that is grounds for a dismissal.
The worst thing you can do is to ignore a problem or sweep it under the rug. It will come back in a much larger way.
In a happy office, people want to work together. They want guidance. They want a rule book. They want everyone playing by the same rules, as those rules are put in place for everyone's benefit. They will gently remind each other that he or she is violating the rule. And the person reminded of that violation will be appreciative as she wants to do the right thing. That's a happy office. That's what creates a happy staff and a happy doctor.
If you're afraid to confront seditious activity, think of what happened to me. Look at the result. I finally confronted the problem way too late. And as a result, I have a world-class office manager. The same result can happen to you.
The vast majority of staff members come to your practice wanting to do the right thing. They want to please. They want to contribute. They want to make a difference. So how do you make the majority remain the majority? How do you make the staff member so loyal that he or she wouldn't even think of going anywhere else?
Find an office manager that recognizes the good in people. Let he or she be their sounding board as well as your own. But at the same time, that office manager has to have your back as well as the staff's backs. Okay, so I'll stop from the prepared script for a second. That person has to look at help. A manager is there to help, not to discipline. That's part of it. The manager is there to help, and that's what she's thinking about first.
Allow your staff members to contribute. So important. We have a staff meeting every Tuesday morning. If a staff member recognizes a problem, she or he brings up not only the problem, but the solution. In fact, that's a rule. No problems are brought up without proposed solutions. That is the single way to prevent staff meetings from becoming bitch sessions. I can tell you how well this works.
Say thank you a lot.
Recognize a staff member who contributes in a public fashion. Thanking a staff member at your staff meetings, in your newsletter, in front of a patient is sure to get a smile.
Do a staff appreciation surprise. Get a coffee order and bring each staff member their favorite. Or maybe it's something else. In the pre-COVID days, we'd have a sushi day or a chicken wing night. I hope we can get back to that again soon.
Recognize a staff member's anniversary in the office. Just a recognition and even a small gift add meaning to that staff member. Don't forget to write out a card with someone compliment and appreciation. It means a lot.
Ask a staff member's opinion on an office subject. You know, we're not that smart. We may be smart in Barrio. We might be smart in Bros. But the staff member has a better idea than the doctor does in the area where the staff member is working.
Compliment in public, but correct the staff member in private. It's amazing how these 8 items work.
There's a method to get these plans in place to receive the most current strategies, successful actions, and coaching to get your practice where you want it to be. And that's by joining the Institute for Dental Specialists. Members of the IDS receive continual member updates to help them succeed.
We are in regular contact with top performers in and out of dentistry. And because of our network, members of the IDS receive and distribute the strategies that are working now. And as we are an active periodontal practice as well, we test each of those strategies here before we recommend them to you.
IDS members take advantage of money and time-saving strategies they receive every month. With problem solving and treatment planning sessions, podcasts with updated strategies, a weekly 2-minute audio tip that arrives every Monday morning, and a library of over 120 lessons that cover every area of your practice: marketing, public relations, organization, staff motivation, checklists, communication tools, a professionally done phone training course, and keys to treatment acceptance.
You literally have an organized training library for your staff and for yourself, all on checklist. Add that to the unlimited email support from the IDS staff, and you truly have a complete in-house training program for you and your entire team.
Our consulting clients pay over $40,000 a year for one-on-one consulting. Each of them find that that money is worth it as they rocket their practices to new heights. But not every doctor is ready to make that kind of commitment. That is why we've designed a complete, affordable, do-it-yourself method to achieve the results that you want, that you need in this new normal.
Mhm.
So we take a look. This is the library, and you're seeing the different chapters of the library, all on the website, which is a password-protected website, so you can get into it, and you can get into the lessons. Within the lessons, so there's the phone module lesson, you'll see that there are little lessons. You start here, and you'll start. And after you do those first 3 lessons, then essentially you have the basics of that course content. Then you add to that course content as you are ready to, in order to be able to advance your skills in that particular area. So for $297 a month, all of these programs are yours. Stay as long as you'd like. Most of our members stay with us, but that's up to you. Join in the next 5 days and receive these bonuses. $150 off the monthly fee until January 2021. A special VIP Ask Us Anything Zoom session, which we'll schedule in advance. And Danielle and I will be there. And that's right, ask us anything. A free marketing review session with IDS marketing manager, Matt Guevara.
Some practices took off like a rocket after the office closures. Some did not. Boost your practice with a tested program that's emulated by some of the top practices in the country. And it's coming from people just like you in active practice, seeing the same thing that you are seeing, using a mirror and a probe just as you are.
And an explorer. There's a reason that we have spoken twice at the AAP, twice at the Seattle Study Club, and twice to the board of NASP, as well as state and regional organizations all over the country.
But the important point is you. You need to recover. You may need to change, maybe a little, maybe a lot. And because we consult with the periodontists and prosthodontists all over the country, we know what you are facing as well.
Now's the right time to make a decision. The stakes are too high to go this alone. Get the help you need right now from the IDS. Go to directorofdentistry.com/join-now. Start your membership at half price and claim your bonuses.
You'll start with a video orientation to the IDS library. Then you'll receive the IDS orientation series to get you and your staff productive using the program right away. This Monday, you'll receive your first Monday morning minute, and you'll receive personal email support from both of us.
This is the time to take action. Take advantage of this limited time offer to get your practice moving in the direction that you want, giving you practice growth and stability. Go to directorofdentistry.com/join, that's join-now, not join.now, and become a member of the IDS.
There is a right way and there is the other way. Choose the right way that has already been created and tested for the specialty practice. Created and tested for you. All you have to do is plug into the IDS system. It's tested in practices, startup and established, urban and suburban, all over the country.
You can go it alone, or you can do it with a tested system of support, as well as regular updates to give you the latest information on what is working right now. Go to directorofdentistry.com IDS.com/join-now and claim your bonus. Get the support you need to create a thriving dental specialist practice with people who are doing it every day. And you'll get the support to help your staff and to help your practice go in the direction you want it to go. Today is not the same as it was before COVID. And these years are not the same as they were before.
Right.
Your specialty practice can grow. Our practice is doing better, even with COVID, even having been closed for 8 weeks, than it was last year. That's what can happen for you.
Yep.
It's just a matter of getting the discipline in place, getting the checklists in place, getting the program in place.
Yep.
And getting some coaching, which you can get, some email coaching from both of us. And you can get that at a very, very reasonable cost. And get working and get your staff working together.
The one thing that COVID did for us that's a positive was it gave everybody the chance to do a restart, a practice restart. And if you haven't taken advantage of that, you're really losing out because it's never going to happen again. I mean, it's a good thing that we're never going to go through something like COVID again, but it's a one time that if you are going to make a change, now is the time to make that change. Because like Dr. Sheldon said, we're doing better now than we ever have before. And we went through a pandemic. We went through something, that was really, really bad for us, but we turned it into a good. You guys can do that too. Whether you're dealing with lack of staff, some bad staff, no manager, not a good manager, that's where you need to start, because having a happy, healthy, strong team is the way to move you to that new level.
It is, so that you can concentrate on what you want to do. You want to be a doctor. You don't want to go through all of the other stuff. Danielle goes through all the other stuff. She feeds me what I need to know when she wants me to know it.
Right.
You don't have to start kicking things around all day when you're treating your patients.
And that's the biggest thing that I do with the IDS. I train your staff. I train your manager. I create managers. I create those organizations, communications. I do that so that you can concentrate on your patient, on patient care, and not have to deal with the patient upsets, the staff upsets, the staffing, the organization, the hiring, the firing, the payroll, the budgeting, the ordering, none of that stuff. That is done by your team.
Good. So if you have any questions, just write to me, Lee@directorofdentistry.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. But go and join and take advantage of those bonuses. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope to see you soon and see you as members of the IDS.
Thank you.
Good night.